The global landscape is shifting, more rapidly and unpredictably than ever before. Across continents, nations are reassessing their roles, their alliances, and their ambitions. The familiar patterns of the past are giving way to a new, uncertain era, one defined by both opportunity and risk. As technology connects us more closely, it also exposes new vulnerabilities and challenges. The world is no longer divided along the same lines it once was. Instead, we see a complex web of relationships, rivalries, and shifting priorities. Long-held alliances are being tested as never before. Traditional partnerships, forged in the aftermath of past conflicts, are now under strain from new economic realities and political pressures. At the same time, unexpected partnerships are emerging, as countries seek to secure their interests in a rapidly changing world. Old friends may become rivals, and former adversaries may find common ground. The rules of engagement are being rewritten, and every nation is recalculating its strategy. At the heart of this transformation lies a growing rivalry between the world's two superpowers, the United States and China. This is not just a contest of personalities or governments, but a fundamental clash of visions for the future. The U.S., with its legacy of global leadership, faces a rising China determined to assert its own influence and reshape the international order. Their competition is felt in every corner of the globe, from the halls of power to the streets of everyday life. This power struggle extends far beyond military might or economic dominance. It is a contest over ideas, values, and the very rules that govern international relations. Both nations are investing heavily in technology, infrastructure, and innovation, seeking to outpace each other in the race for global leadership. Their influence is felt in trade agreements, security alliances, and even in the digital realm, where information and data have become new battlegrounds. It's about global influence, about who sets the agenda, who writes the rules, and who shapes the future. Both countries are vying for the top spot, using every tool at their disposal, from economic investments in developing nations to cultural diplomacy and technological innovation. The competition is fierce and unrelenting. Smaller nations find themselves caught in the middle, navigating a delicate balance between the two giants. This competition is playing out on a truly global stage. Each nation employs different tactics to win over allies and expand its sphere of influence. The United States leverages its established networks and soft power, while China invests in massive infrastructure projects and forges new economic ties. The battle for influence is fought in boardrooms, on social media, and in the corridors of international organizations. Every move is watched, every gesture analyzed. The stakes are higher than ever before, and the outcome will have profound implications for the future of the world order. The choices made today will shape the lives of generations to come, determining not only who leads, but how the world is governed. In this era of uncertainty, one thing is clear: the new world order is being written right now, and its story is far from over. President Xi Jinping, the leader of China, is not just a politician. He's a strategist, a tactician, and a visionary who sees the world as a vast chessboard. Every move he makes is calculated, deliberate, and part of a much larger plan that stretches far beyond China's borders. Xi's approach to global affairs is methodical, blending ancient Chinese philosophies of patience and subtlety with the modern realities of international power dynamics. He's acutely aware that in today's interconnected world, influence is often more valuable than brute force, and perception can be as powerful as military might. Xi is playing a long game. He understands that true power lies not just in strength, but also in perception. In the 21st century, global leadership is about shaping narratives, building alliances, and quietly undermining rivals. Xi's strategy is to position China as a stable, reliable partner on the world stage, while subtly casting doubt on the intentions and reliability of others, especially the United States. He knows that trust is currency in international relations, and he's determined to make China the bank everyone wants to do business with. With this in mind, Xi has unleashed a diplomatic offensive, dispatching envoys to every corner of the globe. These diplomats are not just messengers. They are skilled negotiators, storytellers, and influencers. Their job is to build relationships, offer economic incentives, and present China as a force for stability and prosperity. They attend summits, broker deals, and quietly gather intelligence, all while advancing Beijing's interests. In Africa, Latin America, Europe, and beyond, Chinese diplomats are forging new partnerships and deepening old ones, often in places where American influence is waning. Their mission? To sow seeds of doubt about the United States and its commitment to its allies. In private meetings and public forums, they raise questions about America's willingness to stand by its friends when times get tough. They highlight moments when Washington has pulled back from international agreements or shifted its stance on key issues, suggesting that the U.S. is an unpredictable partner. The goal is to make other countries think twice before putting all their trust in American promises. These diplomats carry a simple but potent message: America cannot be trusted. They repeat it in press conferences, in closed-door negotiations, and in the media. They point to recent history, reminding the world of trade wars, sudden policy reversals, and shifting alliances. The message is clear. While the U.S. talks about partnership, it often acts in its own self-interest, leaving allies exposed and uncertain. They point to the unpredictable nature of American foreign policy, particularly under the previous administration, as evidence of this unreliability. The abrupt withdrawal from international agreements, the imposition of tariffs on allies, and the frequent changes in diplomatic tone are all cited as proof that America's word is no longer its bond. For many countries, this unpredictability is unsettling, and China is quick to offer itself as the steady alternative. They argue that while America might make promises, it's China that can be relied upon to deliver. Beijing presents itself as a partner that honors its commitments, invests for the long term, and respects the sovereignty of other nations. Through trade deals, infrastructure projects, and diplomatic outreach, Xi's China is steadily building a network of influence that challenges the old order. In Xi's global chess game, every handshake, every agreement, and every carefully chosen word is a move designed to reshape the balance of power for decades to come. Former President Donald Trump's approach to trade was often characterized by aggressive tactics and a disregard for traditional diplomatic norms. He imposed tariffs, renegotiated long-standing trade deals, and engaged in public spats with world leaders, including close allies. While Trump argued that these actions were necessary to protect American interests, they often alienated other countries and created opportunities for China to present itself as a more reliable and cooperative partner. China's message has resonated with some countries, particularly those who feel bullied by the United States or taken for granted. They see America's focus on its own interests, often at the expense of others, as evidence of its waning commitment to global leadership. This perception of American unreliability has created an opening for China to step in and position itself as a more stable and dependable alternative. China is offering loans, investments, and trade deals with fewer strings attached, appealing to nations wary of American pressure. To better understand the shifting dynamics of global power, let's take a closer look at a recent and significant event: the landmark trade deal between China and a coalition of Southeast Asian nations. This agreement is more than just a collection of signatures on paper. It represents a turning point in the economic and diplomatic relationships within the region. The deal, which brought together countries with diverse interests and histories, was the result of painstaking negotiations, careful diplomacy, and a shared vision for mutual prosperity. The agreement itself is designed to lower tariffs, open up new markets, and strengthen economic ties between China and its Southeast Asian partners. But what makes this deal truly remarkable is the context in which it was achieved. For years, these nations have navigated complex political landscapes, balancing their own national interests with the pressures and opportunities presented by larger powers. The negotiations were not always smooth. There were moments of tension, disagreement, and even the risk of collapse. Yet, through patience and a willingness to compromise, the parties involved managed to find common ground. Many analysts point to China's diplomatic strategy as a key factor in the success of these talks. Rather than pushing aggressively for its own interests, China adopted a more measured approach, listening to concerns, offering incentives, and demonstrating flexibility when needed. This patient diplomacy, combined with a clear understanding of the region's economic needs, allowed China to build trust and ultimately secure an agreement that some experts believe gives it a significant economic edge in Southeast Asia. The deal is seen as a testament to the power of negotiation and the importance of building long-term relationships. What's particularly striking about this development is how it contrasts with the approach often taken by the United States. While China has focused on dialogue and compromise, the U.S. has at times favored a more confrontational stance, using economic pressure and public criticism to advance its goals. This difference in style has not gone unnoticed by countries in the region, many of whom find themselves caught between two competing superpowers with very different visions for the future of Asia. As a result, some Southeast Asian nations have felt increasingly pressured to choose sides in this escalating rivalry. The uncertainty has led to anxiety and division, as leaders weigh the benefits of closer ties with China against the risks of alienating the United States. This case study highlights not only the complexities of modern diplomacy, but also the far-reaching consequences that major power competition can have on smaller nations striving to chart their own course in a rapidly changing world. The contrasting styles of the United States and China are on full display in their approach to global leadership. The United States, with its history of military intervention and economic sanctions, often projects power through strength. China, on the other hand, prefers a more subtle approach, emphasizing economic cooperation and cultural exchange. Neither approach is inherently right or wrong, but they reflect fundamentally different philosophies about how to influence the world. The United States often seeks to impose its will, while China aims to persuade and entice. As the US and China vie for global dominance, other countries are finding themselves caught in the crossfire. They are being forced to choose sides or risk being left behind. This pressure is particularly acute for nations with strong economic ties to both superpowers. For these countries, the current geopolitical landscape presents both challenges and opportunities. They must navigate a complex web of alliances and rivalries while trying to secure the best possible outcomes for their citizens. The competition between the United States and China is shaping the future of global leadership. The outcome of this rivalry will determine not only the balance of power in the world, but also the rules and norms that govern international relations. The world is watching closely to see which model of leadership will prevail: the American model, based on hard power and assertive diplomacy, or the Chinese model, emphasizing soft power and economic cooperation. The stakes are high, and the outcome is far from certain. What is clear, however, is that the world is entering a new era, one defined by shifting alliances, intensifying rivalries, and a fundamental reshaping of the global order. The question remains: will this new era be defined by cooperation or conflict? The answer lies in the choices that both the United States and China make in the years to come.